Well, no, we already are live. Now we're live, broadcasting worldwide from the WDCE studio, the University of Richmond. You're listening to 90.1 FM. Once again, we already did this because we have the Sam Cam going. People are probably listening and they're saying, well, what's going on here? Who's talking and why can't I see you? Well, you can see me, even though I'm just on the radio, because I'm not just on the radio. You can go to @SamNewsman on Instagram, and there is a live feed directly here to the station in the studio. You can actually see me right now. Yes, this is revolutionary. It's called simulcasting. Are you familiar with it? Yeah, so one of the things that we were waiting for is we were waiting for the YouTube feed to pop up, and it finally did. So now the YouTube feed has popped up, and then there's also the Instagram feed. So we're running on all full cylinders, setting the standard, raising the bar, as only me, a real puppet, could actually do. Hold on a second. We got to get the newspapers. Hold on. The newspaper. So the thing is that every morning when I come in here and, as they're getting everything together, and here I am trying to still get everything together. Good gracious. What was going on at the beginning, top of the hour? Huh? What do you mean, Lord Blanket? No such thing as Lord Blanket. I'm sitting there tired of all this Lord Blanket talk. So here we go. So today, once again, it was the 28th day of July, 2022. So here we go. So what we do here is we actually grab. Then you stop saying that. You stop saying what? Actually. Why? Well, because it just messes up the flow. It's just a filler word. Well, see, I realize that that's happening in real time. Well, it's morning. So it's the morning. And the thing is that because it's the morning, I am trying to think on my feet. Don't want to repeat words, but actually was the one, I guess, that I got from the coffee this morning. Just kidding. No coffee. No coffee over the last couple of days. We've been running off pure adrenaline. 18 days in a row on the radio. Now, I don't know. That might be a record. Well, it might be a record for a real media puppet, because what happens is that all these humans are always called media puppets. Someone probably broadcasted more than 18 days straight, but not recently. Not recently, and not any of the people that are on the list up against me either. I just wanted to make that clear. Well, yes, you should have been voting every single day since the 12th. But if you do have a family of 57, and well, listen, there's families still around that have 57 members. If you have 57 members of your family, just make sure that they all vote today, because that's important. That is definitely important. That's what we want to happen. Just need to get in the top three. Just need to get into the top three. So here we go. Like I said, broadcasting live. Here's the YouTube camera right here. So we're on YouTube as well. Sam Newsman on YouTube, right? So broadcasting live on YouTube. And then we also have this over here, which is the Sam Cam on Instagram. But let's go ahead and let's get into the news of the day. There's a couple of other different things. Oh, here you go. Let's see here. We have the semiconductors. We have the news, and then we have a bid for freedom. Okay, here we go. So in the news, so we'll go down a little list here real quick of just some news items that I'm seeing here. This is on the bottom of the front page of the Washington Post, where democracy dies in the darkness. That's right, democracy dies in the darkness. A shout out to people who are also in the chat. Yeah, so you can log in and be in the chat in Instagram too. Same thing with YouTube. Once again, simulcasting as well. Democracy dying in the darkness. Washington Post on this Thursday, the 28th of July, 2022, where democracy dies in the darkness. Okay, so it was in the news. Bid for freedom. The United States offered a proposal to Russia to release 2 Americans, including WNBA star Brittany Griner. The Senate passed a bipartisan bill to buoy domestic production of the vital product component of semiconductor chips. Right. Let's see here. HIV patient was effectively cured after receiving a transplant of stem cells with a rare mutation. Well, that's interesting. HIV patient was effectively cured. Mask mandates are returning to public classrooms amid a surge of coronavirus cases. Jared Kushner, in his forthcoming memoir, alleges that the chief of staff, John Kelly, once shoved Ivanka Trump and described his behavior as overtly aggressive. Yeah. President Biden into isolation after enduring mild coronavirus symptoms and well, urged corporate medicine on all Americans. Okay, so let's see, the world, Taiwan is honing in its invasion response after China lashed out at the United States over a potential visit by Nancy Pelosi, the House Speaker. So the military, I saw last night, I was reading that the military is taking measures just in case she decides to go. Yeah, so the military is having to change its plans because she is being defiant and wants to go to Taiwan. Okay, whatever. More tax dollars because she needs to probably go and get her ice cream contacts, for her fancy ice cream in her $20,000 refrigerator. Anyway, so here we go. What else? Taiwan. So in France, a shortage of the beloved condiment, mustard, inspired panic in the nation's grocery aisles. Well, I didn't hear this one. So there was a run on mustard in France. Yeah. French is mustard, right? So it just seems so. I guess everybody, can you imagine? Can you imagine what did so a couple of years back when there was a run on stuff in the grocery stores? One of the things that I think that still stayed on the aisle was mustard, right? I don't think mustard went anywhere. If mustard did go anywhere, probably just because people were stocking up on it because it was discounted. But can you imagine going to the store? You're about to have a cookout. Maybe you're about to have one of those soft, fluffy pretzels. And then you go down the condiment aisle and there's no mustard. No mustard at all. Oh, the humanity. There's no mustard. Caused a run in the grocery aisles in France. Facebook workers feared cuts after blunt warnings from executives about the need to crack down on low performance. Low performance. Listen, I thought they were just controlled by AI. What? Aren't all those companies just controlled? Oh, so the AI. Oh, I got it. So the AI is on notice. All right, you heard it, you AI workers there. We don't like you. We're going to shut you down and make another AI out of you. Oh, wait. Oh, they're talking about humans? They still have humans? When did these big tech companies still have humans outside of the board that are making money? I thought it was just hamsters and wheels. Well, we went from hamsters and wheels to humans, maybe. But I mean, these tech companies, they've been around for a while now. They don't need humans. What's that all about? You have to pay a human. You don't have to pay the AI. But anyways, those AI. Okay, so there's the humans. Is it the board members? It's not the board members. Who the hell's still working there? Well, anyway, okay. So workers are So there's some workers that are upset and worried about Facebook because of their components or their performance. Well, whatever. Republican opposition is mounted over letting power companies remotely adjust appliances of consenting customers to save and avert blackouts. So it was years ago. It was years ago where we would sit there and make the comment and say that one day the government is going to be able to control your refrigerator and your dishwasher remotely. And that's what the smart tech was all about. People laughed and they said, "Oh, Sam, you just have a tinfoil hat on." Well, here we are. I'm going to read this again. So, Republican opposition has mounted over letting power companies remotely adjust appliances of consenting customers to save on advert blackouts. Now, here's the interesting thing about that. Now, I just read the little blurb there. Don't have any other context in the little blurb. So if they messed up on the little blurb down at the bottom, then the Washington Post needs to tighten up. So the little blurb is telling me that there's opposition from the Republicans over power companies that can then turn down your dishwasher, turn off your wash machine, turn down your dryer, turn up the temperature of your refrigerator for customers who've consented, who've allowed those companies to do it. So if I have allowed these companies to come in through the back door with no soap, and then all of a sudden, turn up the power, turn down the power, do whatever they need to do. Listen, I've consented to the soap. I've consented to them coming in the back door. Right. So so please, like Mr. Politician, if I've consented these power companies to help with cost by lowering, my appliances, that's on me, right? It's on me. There it goes. Once again. Okay. Anyways, what's next? What else do we have here? A man who said he was hired by an Arlington librarian's live-in fiance. Oh, okay, okay. A man who said he was hired by an Arlington librarian's live-in fiance to kill her in 1998 pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. What? Okay, a man who was said he was hired by an Arlington librarian's live-in fiance to kill her in 1998 pleaded guilty to first-degree murder. The FBI is probing the origins of two allegations made in 2019 against Justin Fairfax. Did you hear this? So, word on is three. So, here's some Richmond City gossip. So, a while back, there was a scandal. The scandal involved the governor. The governor ended up having a photo. Well, the governor went on the radio and said he was down with infanticide. Yeah, yeah, we're gonna birth the baby and then make it. It was really weird. No, that's what it said. Well, no, I mean, well, I tell you what, it was about. Well, he said something on the radio. He said something on the radio. Yeah, if you can go back and listen, I don't have it right now. He said something on the radio, and about 2 days later, this picture then shows up. This picture shows up with him in either a KKK hood or a blackface photo. I don't know what it was, but it went bananas. It went bananas at that point. People were calling for his resignation. And then, out of nowhere, another allegation. Oh, there's a poor connection? What do you mean there's a poor? Okay, so there was another allegation that happened with the lieutenant governor, saying that there was some allegations of him and misconduct from back in the day. It came out of nowhere. Not sure where it came from. And then the attorney general had his own little snafu. But it was very interesting because we had a lieutenant governor who had a very unblemished record. And then out of nowhere, he then has this scandal that's going on. Well, this was about what? This is like 2.5, 3 years ago, I believe. 2.5, 3 years ago or something like that. Anyway, so now it's come to light that the word on the street is that the person who's responsible for those leaks to the lieutenant was the mayor at the time of Richmond. That's the rumor. Now I don't know if that's true, and I think that the mayor has went on record and said that's false too, right? So if that's anyways, it's very interesting, very interesting set of events. That's some Richmond City gossip. Richmond City gossip. Oh yes, and also listen, the mayor's office is stonewalling request for Freedom of Information Act request, and they're blocking that using some executive something or another about the alleged plot against people who were going to be at Dogwood Dell on July 4th, something to that effect. A lot of gossip and brouhaha going on. There's still a Confederate statue up in the city too. They tore all the rest of them down. They left this one up. Big brouhaha on that too. What else do we have? Relatives viewed the names of the dead as a new remembrance wall was unveiled at the Korean War Memorial on the wall in Washington, D.C. There you go. So let's see. Well, those are just some of the news stories that we have. A couple of other things here. Let's see. Let's keep on going here as we're here with the Washington Post. Monkeypox crisis exposes inequities in gay community. So the struggle for limited resources, tens of thousands of at-risk gay and bisexual men to try to get vaccinated, tested, and treated during the growing monkeypox outbreak has exposed deep disparities in the gay community, while urban professionals scramble to protect themselves from the disease that can cause searing symptoms and force weeks of isolations. People of color, lower income, and individuals and those living outside large cities face even greater challenges accessing care for the latest viral threat hanging over gay life. Let's see here. What else? So, protesters rallied last week in New York to demand more government action to combat the spread of monkeypox, a virus similar to smallpox but with milder symptoms. So there was a so they're saying that it's blowing up, or it's spreading within the homosexual and gay community. Listen, I'm not paying too much attention to the monkeypox thing after the guy at the World Health Organization, who's not a doctor, by the way, not a doctor. The guy who runs the guy who's in charge of the World Health Organization. Just think about this for a moment. The guy in charge of the World Health Organization, not even a doctor, not even a medical doctor. And there was a vote to declare whether or not monkeypox was a global emergency. The vote was 9-6. He casted what he called a tie-breaking vote. He casted a tie-breaking vote, and what? His win was 9-6 tie-breaking. It makes no sense. Anyways, he said he broke that tie-breaking vote and decided to declare monkeypox a global emergency. Let's see here. Here we go. Here's a nice little follow-up from, remember the other day, the Pope went on an apology tour over in Canada. Here's another one. This is a language that's been taken from us. Canada schools for the Indigenous banned native tongues. The Cree want theirs back. This is in Makawakis, Alberta, I believe. That's how you say it. Lucy Johnson, blah, 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 blah. The legacy of the Ermikishin Johnson, now 55, and a paralegal, can't speak the language of her people. So let's see here. Oh, here you go. Okay. So Lucy Johnson never spoke the Cree language when she was growing up. Her father wouldn't allow it. He just called it jungle talk. He didn't elaborate much until he was weeks away from dying of alcoholism. Then he told his children that he associated the language with his experience at the the residential school he attended. When he tried to speak Cree there, he said a priest sexually abused him. The more he spoke, the more punishment he received. The legacy of language that Johnson, now 55, and a paralegal can't speak the language of her people, nor can her 6 siblings across Canada. The often brutal residential school system designed to assimilate Indigenous people into white European culture succeeded in breaking the resolve of many of these Native Americans. So let's see. That's very interesting. Very interesting. So they want to start teaching that language again in the schools, in the school systems. Well, they should. Why shouldn't they? They should teach all types of languages in schools. There should be languages taught in, like all over the place. Why is there not languages taught in schools? Yeah, the Pope apology tour. Ridiculous. Okay, here we go. GOP freshman bucked Trump, but is targeted by Democrats. 18 months ago, Representative Peter Major joined just 9 other House Republicans and voted to impeach Donald Trump. This week, he learned that the Democrats he stood with then were spending nearly $500,000 to help his Trump-backed challenger defeat him. I assume this might happen, is what he said. The 34-year-old freshman Republican from Michigan said in an interview Tuesday. The high-minded rhetoric of his Democratic colleagues, he added, has been translated into galling hypocrisy by a party committee running as to boost John Gibbs. I believe John Gibbs is the person who is being supported by Trump, if I recall that correctly. Yes, there's a couple of other news and information things. Let's see here. What's going on? School mandates, mask days return as new virus surge. Well, if you think the mask mandates are coming back, it's also going to be the lockdowns here pretty soon. So just need to do. So last 2 officers in Floyd case, that's to prison, yes, Manchin and his Biden administration continues to weigh declaring health emergency. Gun makers use manipulative marketing to sell rifles. We were talking about all this. Why am I here? You go. I feel like that all of this news was stuff that I read the other day, and this is Fed hikes, and yes, we're going to get to the Fed hikes here in a bit. We'll get to the Fed hikes. You know that the GDP numbers are coming out at 8:30. The GDP numbers are coming out at 8:30. Yeah, we'll give those numbers to you right before we head out of here. Yeah, we'll give those numbers to you before we leave out of here. We'll talk about that and what we learned today. Because I can tell you right now, what we learned today is that the typical definition of what a recession is no longer matters. Yep, yep. Soft language, soft language. Go back and listen to some old. So just type in soft language. You'll pull up some comedians. Soft language. It's incredible. So anyways, broadcasting live from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond. Once again, you're listening to 90.1 FM from the most trusted puppet in media, reporting since Roswell. I'm Sam Newsman, broadcasting live on Instagram, the Sam Cam live here on Instagram. Sam Cam is also here on YouTube. So we are here on YouTube. Got a couple of people in there, maybe people over there. So anyways, I want to thank all of you for watching and listening here. Once again, we are broadcasting live on the radio. This is actually a real radio microphone right here. Yes, real radio microphone. And yes, the Simple Radio app is the app you can download. Search WDCE. You can listen to the show live when it's happening and all the other shows here on WDCE. WDCE.org. That's also somewhere else. You can pull up. Yeah, right. You can. Right. You just pull up the website, WDCE.org. There's, I think, over in the left-hand corner. You just click over there. And then, yeah, there's a live stream there as well. So there's live streams everywhere. Yes, the Twitch tablet did not make it. The Twitch tablet did not make it. We're going to eventually have the Twitch tablet is coming. The Twitch tablet is coming. As of right now, we just have this. So Instagram, YouTube, and also here on the radio. In the radio, so of course, the radio is the key. The reason why the radio is the key is because we are up for the best local morning radio show here in Richmond, Virginia, put on by our friends at the Richmond Times-Dispatch. So best local morning radio show, and we've been broadcasting 18 days in a row. We'll say, what are those 18 days in a row? Shout out to Lone Dragon in the chat. 18 days to hashtag Sam the Vote. 18 days to Sam the Vote. And it's been 18 days that we've been broadcasting live on the radio every single day. The day before the voting started, that's when we started broadcasting. So we broadcasted 18 days straight. No one else did that. And then tomorrow we'll be broadcasting again. We'll be broadcasting again tomorrow, but not on the radio. And full disclosure, we will not be on the radio on Saturday as well. But we will be back next week. So, see, I'm getting news information about how the stream's going. So I'm seeing I'm hearing where the Instagram feed is fading in and out, but the YouTube feed is better. So shout out once again to Lone Dragon saying that the YouTube feed is more clear than the Instagram feed. However, we're doing both. Have to listen. Be there for all people. Be there for all people. So we, like I said, Instagram and on YouTube. But look, the best local morning radio show. Something that we don't take lightly here. But it's definitely expected because we've been busting our tail for the last 5 years. What are you shaking your head behind the glass for, Jerem? No. Listen, we've been busting our tail. So originally, let me just a little history lesson real quick. So we started off here on the radio doing what? We started off at drive time on a Thursday. So we started drive time on a Thursday, and then one day you decided to allow the puppets to take over the board. Next thing you know, there's a bunch of cartoon themes playing, and then the phone is blowing up, not literally, figuratively, and then people started requesting cartoon themes. So then what did I decide to do? I decided, hey, listen, this seems like a great opportunity. Let's move from Thursday, which we called it SIdeShow Infotainment. That's what it's called during the week. SIdeShow Infotainment. And then we moved it to Saturday. And instead of calling it SIdeShow Infotainment, we just decided to call it Saturday Morning Radio. Right? The only radio show dedicated to the magic of Saturday morning, hosted by me, a real puppet. And you say, well, what do you do on Saturday morning, Sam? Well, what we do is I actually there's actually again. I open up the phone line. I open up the phone lines. And when I open up the phone lines, I take a huge media risk by allowing you to call into the show. And when you call into the show, I then bring you on air and I'll let you request cartoon themes. Deep Cut Dave called in last week, threw out a couple of deep cuts. They were incredible. Deep Cut Dave. We also had the Future Collector call in. Future Collector called in and he was talking about collecting sticks. I was asking about what the toys are like in the future. And he said, well, no toys. I'm just collecting sticks. Collecting sticks? Yes, and of course there's TNT Nate. TNT Nate was on assignment last week. TNT Nate on assignment last week. That's okay. TNT Nate won't be back this weekend because we're not going to be around, but he'll be back next weekend with some information. Operation Paperclip, maybe Operation Paperclip. We might do something else. That was what the idea was talking about Operation Paperclip. But we'll just have to see next week when we actually do it. Actually, whatever. It's been 18 days. It's been 18 days. In the last couple of days, I've had no coffee. Yeah, last couple of days, had no coffee. Had no coffee, but it's still ripping and running. Still ripping and running. Setting the standard, raising the bar. But anyway, so we moved to Saturday. And like I said, I open up the phone lines. It's a huge broadcast risk to have all of you call in. And like I said, but I have the general call, hopefully the general, whatever. Don't you guys shake your head back there either. Guys in the back don't want to hear about that. But yeah, so you call into the show and you request cartoon themes. I'll play them live on the air, give you a shout out. And you can even request a whole cartoon set if you want to in advance. And I'll talk about you and I'll highlight you and your social media feeds. Tell everybody to go follow you because you made an epic set list. That's if we get time to it. We're starting to open up the phone lines more. So, these music interludes and breaks are becoming shorter and shorter. Well, that's just the name of the game. Setting the standard, raising the bar. Well, sure, of course people want to hear cartoon themes in the morning on especially on Saturday morning. Well, they're making breakfast for their kids and they're taking their kids to soccer practice or maybe just sleeping in from too many drinks the night before. Shame on you. But nothing is better than waking up on a Saturday morning and hearing cartoon themes. And that's the reality of it. To think anything else is just foolishness. Well, of course. Well, there's been cartoons for years. Oh, so you want me to play some cartoon themes from the past? Well, I can do that right now. Let me go ahead and let's go ahead and we'll cut to some cartoon themes. This is kind of how we do things on Saturday morning. We'll do a couple of cartoon themes here. We'll come back at the top of the hour. We'll talk about the Fed interest rate hike. And also, it looks like that Manchin and Schumer came together on something in the Senate. And if that goes through, the Republicans will not be able to filibuster it. And they will just cry, and cry some more. We'll be back here in a few moments here, broadcasting live from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond. You're listening to one of the best of Richmond's nominees for the best local morning radio show, which you can vote for by going to @SamNewsman on Instagram. Click on the link in my profile. It'll take you right to the voting page. You can vote for me right there. Or go to richmond.com, click on contest, click on the best of Richmond, go to entertainment, scroll down. You will find the best local morning radio show. You'll see Sam Newsman, WDCE 90.1 Richmond in big bold letters. Click on that. And yes, you will help us in our quest to get into at least the top three. Got to get into the top three. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Anyway, so we're broadcasting live from the WDCE studios, broadcasting worldwide. Hold on, let me broadcasting worldwide from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond. You're listening to 90.1 FM from the most trusted puppet in media. Reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam Newsman, and this is SIdeShow Infotainment.
accept the fact that the city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion. What do you mean this Old Testament? Yeah, Mayor. Real wrath of God type stuff. Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling. What use of darkness? Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together. That's hysteria.
Broadcasting worldwide from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond, you're listening to 90.1 FM from the most trusted puppet in media. Reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam Newsman, and this is SIdeShow Infotainment. Phone number 804-289-UR90. 804-289-8790. No, the phone line's not open. I just need to sit there and get that out of the way just to let everybody know. But yes, here we are. Here we are on this 28th day of July 2022. It is 8:05 here Eastern Standard Time. Like I said, July 28th, 0728220805. 0728220805. So here we are. This is the 18th day in a row. 18th day in a row what? Well, the 18th day in a row that I've been here on the radio. And the question is that you have is, why have you been broadcasting 18 days straight on the radio, Sam? Well, it's because we are in the running for the best local morning radio show here in Richmond, Virginia, brought to you by our friends over at the Richmond Times-Dispatch. The Richmond Times-Dispatch has a contest every year. Now, the interesting thing about this contest is that we ended up getting on the ballot in the last 48 hours. Well, there was a bunch of write-ins that happened, and then about the last 24 hours. Within the last 24 hours, my name popped up there on the actual website, and then from then it was game on. It was game on, game on, game on. It's been game on ever since. 18 days straight on the radio. No one else is doing it. In fact, one of the other people here locally, they broadcast from their house ever since the shutdown several years ago. They've been able to broadcast in their boxer shorts. And here I am, dressed to the nines, dressed to the tilt, dressed to the T, looking dapper as always because I'm a duppet, a dapper puppet. I'm a duppet, the most trusted duppet in media, a dapper media puppet. But yeah, so well. What else? Well, no, listen, no, and it's not Sam the Newsman. It's Sam Newsman. Newsman is my last name. Yeah, Newsman is my last name. It's not Joe the Smith, right? It's not Bob the Jones, huh? Just like it's not Sam the Newsman. It's Sam Newsman. And once again, the best of Richmond, richmond.com. That's a way you can vote. Go to richmond.com. You click on contest. Click on contest and then click on the best of Richmond. You'll be able to vote for us there. You can vote once a day with an email. Once a day per email. Meaning that if you have a family of 6, then all of you should be voting 6 times every day. Well, no, once a day. Once a day. So that'd be 6 votes across the board. Right. No, well, no, we're not going to get into that. Are they nervous? They might be nervous. Yeah, a real media puppet nipping on their heels, with no backing, no backing, no corporate backing. Don't even have a Facebook page. In fact, it was a year ago that people told me to get Instagram. I wasn't even jiving with that really, but then I got it. So I ended up getting Instagram, and here we are. So we're broadcasting live, simulcasting on Instagram, and also on YouTube. So if you go to @SamNewsman on Instagram, you'll be able to see my beautiful felt puppet face, in addition to hearing my beautiful puppet voice, my majestic, magical voice. So we got the majestic, magical voice and the beautiful felt puppet face. Maybe that's what we should call it. Yeah, the beautiful, the fantastical felt puppet face and the magical, what did I say again? Whatever. Anyway, so here we are. Like I said, broadcasting live on YouTube. Here's the YouTube camera right here. The YouTube camera right there. And then we have the Instagram camera over there. Also, if you download the Simple Radio app, you'll be able to listen to us if you're outside of the broadcast signal, the broadcast area. You'll be able to do that then. So I encourage you to do that. Also, WDCE.org as well. Now here we go. So we have the Richmond Times-Dispatch. We have the newspaper. Here we go. And so I was reading the Washington Post earlier. I was reading out of the Washington Post, and then I started talking about all that Richmond City gossip. So here we go. Stoner said, I'm sorry, Stoner says the FBI has not asked him about the origin of Fairfax allegations. So Richmond Mayor LeVar Stoney on Wednesday said that the FBI hasn't reached out to him regarding an ongoing investigation into the origins of sexual assault allegations against former Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax. The publication, The Intercept, on Monday reported that federal authorities are investigating. The source claims that Fairfax sexually assaulted two women. Fairfax, who has denied the allegations, has asserted that Stoney and former Governor Terry McAuliffe were politically motivated to plant the accusations. Oh my gosh. I should have just grabbed the front page of the Richmond Times-Dispatch first. I mean, the juicy gossip was right here. I just saw it out of there was just a small little blurb on the bottom of the Washington Post. Small little blurb there. Here it is, big old story down at the bottom of the Richmond Times-Dispatch. So what else do we have? Manchin and Schumer okay a tax energy health deal. The Senate expect to vote on the bill next week. In a startling turnabout, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Joe Manchin announced an expansive agreement Wednesday that had eluded them for months, addressing the healthcare and climate issues, raising taxes on high earners and corporations, and reducing the federal debt. I like reducing the federal debt. Reducing the federal debt is good. The two Democrats said the Senate would vote on the wide-ranging measures next week, setting up President Joe Biden and the Democrats for an unexpected victory in the run-up to the November elections, in which their congressional control is in peril. A House vote would follow perhaps later in the month or another week or two. Going to pass both. It's going to pass. So, Manchin holds all the balls. I mean, Manchin holds all the keys. Manchin holds all the keys, and he was the guy that a couple months back they tried to pass a few things, and he was the one who, he's the one that stonewalled all that. So it looks like that Schumer, Manchin, were able to come to the table to some kind of agreement. But this has nothing to do with the semiconductors, right? Do we have the semiconductor story? Is the semiconductor story here still? No. There's the semiconductor story. There was a semiconductor story. I wanted to see that. Anyway. Oh, here it is. It's right here. It's right there. Okay, sorry about that. It's right above the other one, right here on the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Anyway, so Senate approves. This is on the front page of the Richmond Times-Dispatch. 2021 Pulitzer Prize winner. Here on this Thursday, the 28th day of July, 2022, Senate approves $52 billion package on semiconductors. Legislation opens door to rebuilding industry in the U.S. About damn time. In a bipartisan vote on Wednesday, the United States Senate adopted legislation that would invest $52 billion in domestic productions of semiconductor chips vital to the automobile industry and other manufacturers, including my video game graphics cards. Listen, there's nothing that means more to me when it comes to these semiconductors than my video game graphics cards. Because the video game graphics cards have been a terrible thing to try to capitalize on in the last year. Have you noticed that? Listen, I don't know about you. There's been a few times where I've wanted to build a new PC. I wanted to build a new PC, and then I'm just like, well, hell, maybe I should just get another Mac. Get another MacBook. The one that I have now is about 7 years old. 7-year-old MacBook. About time to upgrade that. Still working. Still works like a charm, by the way. Still works like a charm. No, that is not an ad. No, that's not paid advertising. Just telling you the facts. Just telling you the facts. The 7-year-old MacBook still works, but I've been wanting to build a new PC. In fact, I wanted to build a new PC about a year ago. That way I can have a whole system of mission control for the studio in Toy Town. Right. Yeah, Toy Town studios are lacking these days. They have to be done remotely almost. Everything is... We'll get there. We will get there. But it's all about these semiconductors because listen, I need my NVIDIA graphics cards, I need my ATI, my Radeons, all those. I need those to be up to date. So that way that I'm not spending so much money on just trying to get a video's graphics card so I can play some games. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean I need to be responsible for recording? Well, that too, but then I still want to play some games. Listen, VR is a big deal. VR is a big deal. And if there's one thing I want to do is I want to get in an elevator on a bad day. Here's on a bad day, this is what I want to do. On a bad day, I want to put on my VR headset and get into an elevator and ride all the way to the top of a building. When the elevator opens its doors, there's just a wooden plank to walk out on. And then from there, I'll walk out on the wooden plank. I'll turn around, I'll look up at the huge skyscraper that I just exited from, where the door of the elevator just opened up to a wooden plank. And so here I am looking around. I see birds, I see all kinds of stuff, the sun setting in the back, and then I just fall backwards. Ah. Have you done that before? They have a VR set here up at the school over there in the library here on the campus at University of Richmond. I did that before. Yeah, you sit there, you go in and you put in the VR. Beat Saber. Beat Saber is another one. Yeah, Beat Saber and then falling backwards off of a plank, high above a skyscraper. It's trippy. It is trippy. It's super trippy. And I tell you what, it's one of those things. That's why I want to get a new PC. And so these semiconductor chips are important. It's part of the metaverse, right? For the metaverse's sake, just think about it. Someday in the future, you will be able to log into the metaverse and talk to me directly, right? You'll be able to say, "Hey, look, there's Sam, and I'm talking with Sam. I'm actually shaking Sam Newsman's hand in the metaverse. Yay!" So here we go. The Chips Plus Act, as it is known, passed the Senate 64 to 33 and now moves to the House of Representatives. The House will have its second chance in a year to send legislation to President Joe Biden that supporters say will create jobs, reduce inflation, and bolster national security by offsetting Chinese ambitions to control a crucial piece of the global supply chain for microelectronics. Right. Mm-hmm. I bet it'll do that. Who's like, if we had to make a bet of whether or not that will actually happen with this money, shouldn't you just already buy me a steak? Because I would already win that bet. Of course, the first step of the U.S. regaining its leadership in technology and innovation, Senator Mark Warner, Democrat, Virginia, said in a news briefing before the Senate voted on legislation that he helped write. Well, the Mark Warner used to be in telecoms. He used to be a telecom. He made his millions and millions off the telecom industry. So, yeah, well, with thousands of vehicles sitting unfinished on factory lots because they lack semiconductor chips to guide them, Warner said the legislation won't solve the problem overnight because all the money will be laundered to all of our friends and people that we need to get it to first. But then it will send a signal to the markets that we are money laundering the way that we need to. Yeah, that's not no, no. That's just me. That's not what it says. Yeah, it won't solve the problem overnight because our money laundering operation schemes are in place and everything is going according to plan. Signaling America markets that the inflation will continue to go up, and so will your food prices and everything else. The goal is to get America is back in the game in this critical component of microelectronics. Yeah, back in the game. I'll believe it when I see it. When I start seeing the job ads saying, "Hey, manufacturing help for semiconductor plant," then I'll be all for that. But until then, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. So what else is going on? So it is 8:19 here on this 28th day of July 2022. Ah, yes. The big news of the day. Yes, we do have about 10 minutes. 10 minutes before we get the GDP numbers. So about 10 minutes or so before we get the GDP numbers. They might have already been leaked. Hold on. Let's see if they've been leaked already. Have they been leaked already? Let's see. Let's go into the old fancy deep Let's see. Nope, it still hasn't come up just yet. Still hasn't come up just yet. But anyway, so the Fed. That's a good news article. We'll read that one here in a little bit. All right, so Fed again raises key interest rates. So here we go. Can we get this newspaper? Get it on. Here we go. So the Fed quest to quench inflation. Quest to quench inflation. Once again, this is the front page of the Richmond Times-Dispatch. The Fed again raises key interest rate. Decision bumps it up by 0.75 of a point. This is coming out of the Associated Press here on the front page of the Richmond Times-Dispatch, the 2021 Pulitzer Prize winner. Washington, this is from Washington. The Federal Reserve on Wednesday raised the benchmark interest rate by a hefty 0.75 of a point for the second straight time in its aggressive drive in 3 decades to tame high inflation. The Fed's move will raise its key rate, which affects many consumer and business loans, to a range of 2.25% to 2.5%, its highest level since 2018. Central Bank's decision follows a jump in inflation, 9.1%, the fastest annual rate in 41 years. And it reflects a strenuous efforts to slow price gains across the economy. By raising borrowing rates, the Fed makes it costlier to take out a mortgage or an auto or a business loan. Consumers and businesses then presumably borrow and spend less, cooling the economy and slowing inflation. Question is it going to work? Really, that's the question. Is it going to work? We have another. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, so this was what. So that was on the page of the Times-Dispatch. Here's another one. Fed raises rates for a 4th time as it fights inflation. A big hike of 0.75 of a point. Powell says path to avoid recession has narrowed. Taking aim at stubborn inflation, the Federal Reserve on Wednesday raised interest rates a 4th time this year to further slow down the economy, arguing that some short-term pain could be the only way to avoid longer-lasting scars. So we need to go ahead and give pain at the beginning. Give pain at the beginning right now. Not that the pain that you've suffered at the pump is already enough, right? Sure. Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, you got to do your part, right? Do your part. The Fed hiked interest rates by 0.75 of a percentage point, following a similarly aggressive hike in June, even as Chair Jerome Powell acknowledged that the Federal Reserve sees previous hikes as an already weighing on housing, businesses, investments, and consumer demand. Speaking at a news conference, Powell said he believes the economy is not in a recession. Just like when I get these numbers in a few moments, they're going to say it's not in a recession. Nope. For years, 2 quarters of negative GDP growth is right. That is considered a recession, but not now. Not now. Nope. The definition has changed. The definition has completely changed, just like pronouns. Yep, just like pronouns, the definitions have changed. And here we go. So what do we have? With inflation remaining at a 40-year highs and June prices coming to an especially hot, yeah, whatever. Powell emphasized that controlling inflation is the Fed's chief priority, and it brings a slowdown in the job market for now. So the job market's going to be slowing down, but they said we're not in a recession because the job market's so good. So they're going to do something to then curb the job market and say that this will keep us from not being in a recession. So when does the next report come out? When does the next report come out? October, probably October. October is when those new next numbers come out. Right before Christmas. Then they're going to tell everybody, oh yeah, by the way, we're in a recession. Right before the holidays. That's when they're going to go, October surprise. Here's your surprise. We're in a recession. We didn't want to tell you, 3 months ago so you could prepare. We wanted to just tell you that no, that's not, no. Listen to us. We are all these smart economists, and don't listen to any of the things that we told you prior to this point. And God forbid that if it was a Republican in office, yes, we'd already be in a recession after only 1 quarter of negative GDP. Well, that's just fair. We got to pick on them more. I mean, duh. So, but here we are. So we have the Fed raising hikes, raising interest rate hikes. I know that if this is boring you, it's unfortunate because the reality is that I need to talk to you about your personal finance. Hell, most of you can't even balance a checkbook. You can't even balance the checkbook. One of the reasons why I don't talk about international monetary finances that much either, although I should. But the thing is, it's like we talked about, when the president comes up and says, "Oh, gas prices are down." Yeah, but my natural gas is up. Natural gas is up, which means that my bills are up. My food is up. So all of that is up, 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 up. And then they pass this. They pass a bill. They're going to pass a bill. They're going to pass a bill here about trying to reduce the federal budget. Reduce the federal budget. There's a semiconductor bill. All of this stuff. And here we are, broadcasting live here on the 28th day of July, 2022. Once again, you're listening to WDCE 90.1 FM from the most trusted puppet of media, reporting since Roswell, Sam Newsman. Today's the last day to vote. Hashtag Sam the Vote. Today is the last day to vote. Need you to vote. Vote for what? Vote for me for the best local morning radio show here in Richmond, Virginia. How do I do that, Sam? Is what you ask. Well, you go to richmond.com, you click on contest, you go to the best of Richmond, the best, scroll down to entertainment, click on entertainment, then scroll down again, go to best local morning radio show, and you'll be able to click the link there, and you can then vote on us for the best local morning radio show. Yeah. Well, yes, of course. Well, we do need to, we're going to do a music break here in a bit. Yeah. Oh, yeah. At Sam Newsman on Instagram. There's a link in the profile too there. Yeah. Best local morning radio show here in Richmond, Virginia. So today's the last day. You have until midnight tonight to vote with one time per email. One time per email. I'm going to say that again. One time per email. And you can vote for us for the best local morning radio show here in Richmond, Virginia. We're going to, we're going to play some themes here for a moment. More cartoon themes. I'm thinking more cartoon themes. Yes, are we gonna do the whole end of the show? And what? What do you mean? We're doing what now? Okay, so we're not doing that. Listen, you guys got to make up your mind of what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. Because here I am trying to get things together, and then you guys sit there and just change it up all of a sudden. So we're going to play some cartoon themes. We're playing some cartoon themes. The reason why we're going to play some cartoon themes for all of you is because cartoons were a magical time that you would sit there and go and sit in front of the TVs for hours as you would watch these cartoons, and you would think about how magical your life is because you had these cartoons in your life. You ask, well, what cartoons are you going to play, Sam? Well, you should know what cartoons I'm going to play. I have a set list usually that I play, and I kind of arrange it around a little bit here, there, and everywhere. But I do want to bring out some of the grand hard hitters, if you will. Yeah, so some of the hard hitters, the heavy hitters. Bring out some of the heavy hitters. Do we have them all set up in order just yet? No, we don't. No, just yet. Okay, we almost have them all set up. So we have the heavy hitter set, the heavy hitter cartoon set that we're going to play. We're going to have the heavy cartoon set that we're going to play. And then we'll come back. We'll talk a little bit more. And then what? Huh? Yeah. We're going to do the thing, the thing and the corn pop. No, wait, we're not making minds. Anyways, broadcasting live from the WDCE studios out of the University of Richmond. You're listening to 90.1 FM, broadcasting worldwide on the Simple Radio app. Also, you listen to us on WDCE.org. And remember, broadcasting live on the Sam Cam here on Instagram and also here on YouTube. Simulcasting all over the place, setting the standard, raising the bar. That's why we're in the running for the best local morning radio show here in Richmond, Virginia, by the Richmond Times-Dispatch that you can vote for. Once again, broadcasting live, broadcasting worldwide from the WDC studios out of the University of Richmond. You're listening to 90.1 FM from the most trusted puppet in media. Reporting since Roswell, I'm Sam Newsman, and this is SIdeShow Infotainment.